Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and it is Labor Day weekend. We are coming into Labor Day weekend, and so a lot of you, and especially here in the United States, are going to be throwing parties and barbecues. If you're in New York City, heads up, the NYPD has invited themselves to your party. Now here's what's going on, and whether you like it or not, they may be showing up and checking you out. Now this is coming from the Associated Press, and here's what's up. Those attending outdoor parties or barbecues in New York City this weekend may notice this uninvited guest, and that would be a police surveillance drone. That's right. The New York City Police Department plans to pilot unmanned aircrafts in response to complaints about large gatherings, including private events over Labor Day weekend. And this is what they announced yesterday, obviously heading into, obviously one of the most popular, long weekends that we have here in the United States. Quote, if a caller states there's a large party in a backyard, we're going to be utilizing our assets to go up and check on the party. That's according to Kaz Daugherty, the assistant NYPD commissioner at this press conference. Now, the plan obviously drew immediate backlash from privacy and civil liberty advocates, myself included. Seriously not cool, NYPD. And it raises questions about whether this type of drone use violates existing laws for police surveillance, both in New York City as well as elsewhere. Quote, it's a troubling announcement, and it flies in the face of the Post Act. That's according to Daniel Schwartz, a privacy and technology strategist at the New York ACLU, or the Civil Liberties Union of New York, referring to a 2020 city law that requires the NYPD to disclose its surveillance tactics. Quote, deploying drones in this way is a sci-fi inspired scenario, end quote. And to that point, yeah, go look at any modern futuristic movie, the latest Blade Runner, blah 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 blah. Surveillance drones are absolutely everywhere, and this obviously is a huge problem. Now, this news, or specifically this move, was announced during a security briefing focused on Jouvert, which apparently is an annual Caribbean festival marking the end of slavery that brings thousands of revelers and a heavy police presence to the streets of Brooklyn. I believe it's just in that borough. I could be wrong, though. I've never been to that party. Now, Daugherty said that the drones would respond to, quote, non-priority and priority calls, end quote, beyond the parade route. So there you go. Like many cities, New York is increasingly relying on drones for policing purposes. Data maintained by the city shows that the police department has used drones for public safety and emergency responses and purposes 124 times this year, which is up 4 times in all of 2022, meaning it is continuing to expand within the NYPD's jurisdiction, which is the 5 boroughs of New York. Now, they were spotted in the skies after a parking garage collapsed earlier this year, and when a giveaway event devolved into essentially teenage mayhem. Now, the mayor of New York City, who's a former police captain, by the way, Eric Adams, has said that he wants to see police further embrace the quote-unquote endless potential of drones, citing Israel's use of the technology as a blueprint after visiting that country recently. But as technology proliferates, and this is the problem that we have here in the United States, whether it's local or federal or state, privacy advocates say regulations simply do not keep up. It opens the door to intrusive surveillance that would be illegal if it was conducted by a human police officer, meaning police officers simply cannot walk into your private property if you've got a fenced-in backyard where you're throwing a party, whether it's small or large, and just invite themselves in. They need a warrant for that, but you fly a drone over the house, and here we are. Quote, one of the biggest concerns with the rush to roll out new forms of aerial surveillance is how few protections we have against seeing these cameras aimed at our backyards or even our bedrooms. That is something that we have talked about it just ad nauseum on this YouTube channel, this podcast, and also on this radio show, wherever you're listening to this. So this is obviously a huge thing. And that, for the record, quote was from Albert Fox Khan, the executive director of the Surveillance Technology Oversight Project, or STOP. These is a group I've talked about extensively before as well. That NYPD did not respond in an email by the Associated Press seeking further information about its activities and policies regarding drones. Around 1,400 police departments, for the record, across the entire United States are currently using drones in some way, shape, or form, according to the ACLU. Now, under federal rules, they are generally limited to flying within the operator's line of sight, though many departments have requested exemptions. The report predicted that the use of drones was, quote-unquote, poised to explode among police departments. And of course, why not? It's cheap. It can go places that the cops can't go. Try driving your car or your police car through a cornfield if you're chasing somebody, when the drone can just follow them and see where they exit, et cetera, et cetera. So there are practical uses for police department, but the problem is privacy. The problem is you start pairing these things with high resolution cameras and it can see a whole lot, whether it's flying around your house and looking in windows, looking in your backyard, not to mention biometrics such as capturing you on facial recognition. We all know the problems with that right now, where some cities like Oakland have banned this. I've talked about that ad nauseum as well. And so I think this is overarchingly something that is bad. If there is a call and a complaint on a party, I understand you're looking at basically an entire weekend where we're throwing parties everywhere. Everybody gets invited to parties. I've been invited to a party this weekend, and so if you're looking at it from that perspective, when you have a certain amount of cops and way more general population, from the police perspective, drones make a whole lot of sense because they can go places quickly. They can check things out. Is it really that bad, or is that neighbor just a complainer? Those kinds of things. Nevertheless, this is a huge issue and it's a huge violation of privacy. First and foremost, if the police are here to both protect and serve, that means they're protecting our rights. And they can't serve us if they're violating those rights intentionally to try to protect us. That's the antithesis of essentially what a free society is. So there you go. We'll see what happens. Have a good, safe, fun Labor Day weekend. And we'll see what happens in New York. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private. Thanks, everybody.